Hey, it's the K-tastic one on Money Chaos, and you're listening to Wrestling with Entertainment podcast.
We are wrestling with WWE Fastlane review. It was last Sunday, and if you were smart, would you listen to it, Scooter?
On the remix.
Only on Peacock. Or for the few people that was on the WWE Network as well. Um, yeah, despite being probably an unconsequential pay preview as it kind of was billed, there were some decent matches on this card, and I actually enjoyed the pit preview. What say you?
It was a it was a fun pay-per-view. It it might it might have been a throwaway, save for a couple of moments, uh, but it was enjoyable. You probably could have done some of the stuff at Fastlane at Elimination Chamber as well. But overall, yeah, give it a B plus.
Well, let's get into it. A match that actually did take place at Elimination Chamber, WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match. Nia Jackson, Shayna Baszler defeated Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. More or less just a progression in the Sasha Banks Belair storyline, correct?
Yep, nah, cut and dry here. No, no surprises. Banks, Belair. Uh, the only thing maybe to come out of it is the campaign to have Sasha and Bianca be the main event of one of the nights of WrestleMania. I believe that match is happening on night one.
I don't think that's going to be the main event. I mean, if it was Becky and Ronda, yeah, absolutely. There's a good chance. But I remember telling you guys back when that main event happened, the women won't main event another WrestleMania again. It was
And I,
just something that they did that one time that
yeah,
people could say, oh, well, the women main evented one year.
yeah, they were going through the accomplishment checklist and you know checking off what's left for the women to or should have accomplished by now that the men do every day. It's bunch of malarkey.
Well, I, the way I see it, the checklist is, have a celebrity main event WrestleMania, have an Iron Man match, be the main event of WrestleMania, have a triple threat as the main event, have a women's match at the main event. But they still haven't done a tungsten Iron Man match against The Rock, and that's what I'm waiting for.
Well, it would be a tungsten man, not a tungsten iron man. It'd be a tungsten
A Fortnite Iron Man match, then.
man. Because tungsten and iron are two different elements.
Well, Well, I mean, the pre-sale for WrestleMania already started. So I mean, the match may have already started as we know it, and we don't.
In fact, it started a year ago.
It's been it's the longest pre-sale in history. Anyway, something that went way too long that was way too short as well. Intercontinental Championship match. Big E defeated Apollo Crews to retain the championship. This was kind of blink and you miss it kind of action. Super intense, but kind of it just went away. Honestly, right?
Yeah, it was. It was very. How do I put it?
Kabuki-ish.
Yeah, I mean it was. I mean, it was less than 6 minutes, and the the pinfall I think was a surprise to everybody.
Right. I mean, it was an odd way to end the match. But this was once again another match to progress a rivalry for WrestleMania, right?
Yes, as Big E and Apollo Crews will battle for the Intercontinental Championship on night 2 of WrestleMania 37, and for the this will be the first time in quite some time that the Intercontinental title has been defended in consecutive WrestleManias.
That's crazy. I mean, the Intercontinental is such a staple of WWE, and for it not to be on the card some years, that's just insane to me.
It, you had to defend it last year, and then it wasn't defended at 35. It was defended at 34. Not defended at 33 and 32. No, it was 32. Yes, was defended at 32 in that ladder match.
Yeah, and 31 in another ladder match.
Ladder match. But yeah. Uh, so since 2014, 2015.
And that's something I kind of like about the WrestleMania being 2 nights now is that everybody kind of gets an opportunity to be on the card that should be on the card, and you know, and still have those marquee matches and have room to breathe and time to go to the bathroom. You know what I mean?
I mean, unless you're on the Thunderdome, then you can't.
You can't bring the laptop into the bathroom.
No, because then they'll give your spot to somebody else if they don't see somebody on camera.
There's so many things I could say about that. But I'm not gonna say any of them. Um,
I mean, there are times where people just get randomly kicked off, and they'll say, "Oh, your time on the Thunderdome is done. Thanks for joining."
yeah,
But then you get right back on using the same link.
that's crazy.
Yes, it is. Let's continue.
Braun Strowman defeated Elias for Jackson Ryker. This happened.
Yeah, it was a thing.
Yeah,
Uh, I mean,
I mean that's as far as we could go with it, right?
yeah. I mean, I'm assuming because they're not going to be able to go to Saudi Arabia that they're making this that Shane's doing this now. That's the only reason I can think is that Shane wanted to do something with Braun for Saudi Arabia. The the best in the world versus the greatest Royal Rumble winner or whatnot.
I mean, who knows what they're doing at this point? I mean, it's WWE.
And considering that it's going to be apparently some sort of gimmick match, I
Probably
mean,
last man standing
no, no, probably Falls count anywhere.
because Shane
That's
needs
like,
to jump off something.
yep, or
Mm-hmm.
be thrown off something.
Fun. Alright, Seth Rollins defeated Shinsuke Nakamura. This was probably the best match on the card. But when you have Seth Rollins and Nakamura, how can that be a great match, right?
Yeah, it's very hard to get a bad match out of both Rollins and Nakamura, and this, like we said, it low key stole the show. It was it was the best match on the card that wasn't the main event.
I mean, I'd put it up against the main event, and it would still be the best match. You know,
Mm,
at some time, sometimes you need a great story, but sometimes all you need is two great wrestlers, and they just tell the story inside the ring, right?
yeah,
I mean,
yep,
surprisingly enough, it was a clean victory on Rollins's part, and there was no, interference from, Cesaro, who I'm pretty sure is wrestling Rollins at Mania.
yep. Night one. It is official. Rollins and Cesaro.
All right,
Should be a swinging good time.
swing better, better. That'd be a great match if Cesaro ever wrestled Sting.
The swinger versus the stinger.
No holds barred match. Drew McIntyre defeated Sheamus. This was actually another really good match. What you guys just beat the crap out of each other.
Yeah. This is what I would have imagined if it was Drew and Sheamus for the WWE Championship at Mania. That's what it would have been. Uh,
It's fair assessment.
I mean, now with Sheamus apparently going for the U.S. title and Trevor, and um,
You think
I
Sheamus
mean,
kind of got demoted there?
yes, yes, and it seems like every time they manage to make Sheamus interesting to me, they immediately stop.
And do you think that's maybe plays into the factor that this was maybe supposed to be Mustafa Ali's spot to wrestle uh, a Riddle at Mania, and them having second thoughts or not thinking he's ready, so dropping him and putting somebody that they trust to wrestle for the Intercontinental Championship, United
United States.
States.
Um, I don't know. I mean, considering that Retribution has gotten rid of Mustafa Ali, who knows what's going to happen to them? I mean, I'm sure Dominic Dijakovic is screaming for his hair to grow back in.
And Mace is praying for a better name.
Well, she's staying home with with Keith Lee, who is still not cleared to compete. So Keith will be missing this WrestleMania, it looks like.
And that's a big missed opportunity, isn't it? For him, anyway.
Uh, I would expect Keith to be pushed to the main event almost immediately after WrestleMania.
I mean, that's a fair assessment. Whether or not they continue with McIntyre as the main event guy. And I mean, it kind of seems like that's where they're going. They essentially they're giving him the Hogan push, where he dropped the belt to a gigantic heel in Bobby Lashley. The monster that nobody could stop, and he's, God essentially. And him and McIntyre being able to conquer another monster at Mania, right?
And that is where I think the story and the gravitas fall a little bit short, because we've seen McIntyre and Lashley plenty of times before. We've seen it for the WWE Championship. It
You don't
was at
remember it, pal. You've
I
forgotten
remember.
it.
Damn it! You'll never make me forget. What's that? You want me to look right there at that little round device that flashes a light?
Here comes the Minion Man. Before
I'm
that
sorry.
you remember.
No, you will never make me not forget the fact that a year ago Bobby Lashley was a a transition title defense for Drew at Extreme Rules, a one and done. Now, now that Bobby's got the title, they better friggin' commit to it. Because if Lashley loses, it's going to there's gonna be some, and I don't mean an actual event, but there's gonna be literal backlash.
I disagree. I mean, this is what this is what Bobby Lashley was brought in to do. He's doing the job at Mania from Drew, and I mean he's been an okay champion as of right now, but I never really saw a long-term champion out of Bobby Lashley. And we're joined by Kaliko Yachts.
Ugh. my,
Sounds like there's
my big now my bigger concern is Asian and another person wants chicken. Do you just pull over and say fuck it, we're getting Italian?
from a Canadian from Canada.
A Mexican from Canada.
And a partridge in a pear.
Roast Fiosa.
Flair's
We're talking
God
about
damn it.
Bobby Lashley essentially becoming a transitional champion for McIntyre to conquer for Mania. Agree or disagree?
Oh man.
On you, James.
I disagree. Reason being is because if that were the case, why would they take the title from him? If they really wanted to make him look strong, he would have got the belt back after the cash in. Thus, you see what I'm saying? But the problem is with that, it would have brought up not ambiguity, but it kind of would have been a spoiler if McIntyre went. Because keep in mind, he won the belt, ran through it, lost to Orton, got it back like weeks later. ran through it again, got the cash in. They could have just gave it back to him and have it running through WrestleMania. And I told y'all, and also the reason being is because Bobby Lashley's starting to be a face now, because the Hurt business is crackling. That's why. And I kind of figured that. I was like, once he gets the belt, that's when shit goes downhill. Because now everything, the onus is on Lashley, and rightfully so, because he's an African American person with the belt, which is a rarity. So everybody's focus is going to be making sure that he looks presentable, it looks beatable, and it doesn't gets tainted. You know what I'm saying? As far as like the actors,
And
I wouldn't be surprised. I would be surprised if he wins at WrestleMania.
And for Scooter's information, Drew McIntyre defeated Bobby Lashley at Backlash for the WWE.
Extreme Rules.
No,
Extreme Rules.
Backlash.
Was-
Greatest wrestling match ever. He defeated Dolph Ziggler at Extreme Rules.
Ah, that's right.
But see, that was Lashley before MVP.
No, it's with MVP.
Actually, yeah, that was.
Oh, so pre-Hurt business, Genesis.
Yeah. Another pre-match. Alexa Bliss defeated Randy Orton. Yeah, you heard that right. Not technically a match, but it definitely got us where we need to go. Correct, Skittle?
Absolutely correct. Now there's some speculation as to how Randy Orton and The Fiend will go down at WrestleMania, but it's another cinematic match. Prepare to basically, I would think, see Randy Orton fight himself.
Oh God, no.
But this
This has to be
melted
in front of a crowd because there is actually a crowd this year. I would think.
But the biggest thing I am hearing is the possibility of separating Bray Wyatt from The Fiend and possibly revealing that this Fiend is not Bray Wyatt.
You know?
And it might be Bo Dallas.
Ooh. But Bo's not that fat.
I mean, has anybody really seen him in a while?
Packing on that Corona weight? What say you, Kaliko?
Just depends. I heard about that Bo Dallas too, but
Another plate.
but you know, it is what it is. I'll hold my judgment on that part.
I mean, I'm just interested where they go from literally burning a guy alive. What's the payoff match after that? I mean, honestly.
Well, now he starts fighting superstars in their dreams.
God, no. Talking about
they made a literal.
Talking about a dream match, so to speak. Universal Champion Roman Reigns defeated Daniel Bryan to retain the Universal Championship. This was everything it needed to be and more. I mean, talk about a great match that had a great story. No? Skittle?
Yeah, it had it had an okay story. It needed this extra Edge oomph to really sell it. And that might have actually been Edge might have actually been his own worst enemy here, considering that it will now be a triple threat.
Right.
But again, it's WWE stumbles onto this accidental momentum, and stumbling onto accidental momentum in front of a crowd in front of no crowd is mind-boggling. You know, it's almost like as if the audience believes the sounds they're hearing are the legitimate Thunderdome viewers. But I mean, we're getting. I mean, we got an Occupy SmackDown last night, basically, and I mean, and James, you brought this up. Daniel Bryan and Edge. One of them will probably walk away with the belt so that Roman doesn't get pinned and can still be the head of the table.
Kalika, you have something you want to add to all that?
I mean, I think Roman will probably. I think he's walking out because it's. I think when was the last time he walked in and walked out as champ? I don't think that
Neville.
ever happened. Uh, so to me, this is more of a legacy match for Roman than anyone else, and Scooter's right in the sense that Edge let his jealousy cloud his judgment, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So that's the story. Like he didn't like the fact that it was done the right way in his moment, especially considering all. You could understand why he did it, right? Like
Right.
that's the whole point. That was, I think that was the story. Like I ain't saying he should have did it, but I understand. So yeah, it'll probably get to a triple threat or maybe some kind of. Well, because Roman and Edge are night 2, so yeah, Daniel Bryan's gonna be in the mix somehow.
No,
Either
it was made official last night.
Yep. So there you go. So I wouldn't be surprised if Bryan took the pin, and that way Edge could say, "Hey, I didn't get my one-on-one," because the Royal Rumble winner is supposed to get a one-on-one, not a triple threat. So it kind of keeps that story going. But either way, it's going to keep Edge and Roman involved somehow.
All right. All this being said, Scooter, this show as a whole, thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle.
Yeah, we'll give it thumbs 3/4 of the way up. Only because I'm using Dean Malenko's hands. Now,
Ooh.
oh, Kaliko's the only one that got that. Get well, Dean. We love you.
No blow.
Yeah, thumbs up.
Kaliko?
Other than that tag match, thumbs up. Other than the Shayna Nia match, because I kind of got where they were going, but I mean, no need to do all that. But other than that, thumbs up because now we see the concrete where it's going. Everybody's gonna have a dancing partner.
I agree. Thumbs up. And I'll conclude
Nia, Nia's just gonna try to get some.
That'll conclude our coverage of WWE Fastlane.
Hey, folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show. Support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.